Hey guys, we've had a good morning so far in the war room. Everything's been just tracking just the way we like it to. Opening gaps were fantastic this morning. Smaller list, right? So smaller lists are super easy to deal with. Those big lists take a lot of filtering. So Naranjan and a couple of the other guys were, holy cow, what do you do with these big lists? I think that's the first time we've really had them since, since boot camp, where, you had all these tech earnings just come in and it's just a wave in the morning. That was last week. That was the week before. Right now we're into some manageable list size, and what that meant was that this morning on 6 potential entries, you really had 6 triggers that you were able to grab hold of if you were rotating through what you're looking at. So you don't want to focus on just one stock. You want to go set up your bracket orders, let those brackets get you in, let them execute across the table. And it doesn't really matter, right, that you're watching or not watching. You know what your entry is, you know what your stop is, you know what your target is. Just listen for the thing to say, order filled. Then you can go over, take a look at the stock real quick, make sure, in a couple cases we had to move some targets around because we had real heavy volume by price build up. When you see that kind of a thing on the chart, that's when you make the adjustment. But other than that, it doesn't take a whole lot of intervention on our part. We just set them up, let them go, and, in the end, everything except for, I think, Tyson, TSN was the only one that went against us, and, everything else was just in the books as a profit. So you can check that out on the site. We've got the recap of today's trading that'll be up there in a little bit, and the explanation in a video of each one of those opening gaps. So when I talked about it to you guys in the war room today, I also recorded it so you can go back and review it again. So let's take a look at the charts and see what's setting up for this afternoon. I think we got some pretty decent setups in most of it. It's a little bit of a hinky day with, we opened flat in line, moved up. We had the little bit of the sizzle, and now we got a little bit of a fizzle. So let's take a look at what's happening here. Here you see the charts, and as you're going through these, you can see that we've got sort of mixed markets on, some of the stuff that we watch. We have Apple. Apple is in an uptrend and coming down to that 224.58 threshold, where you can see we've got confluence. So we have right below there this big volume by price bump out right on top of the VWAP, and we have the anchored VWAP there and natural support and resistance. So when that happens, that tells me that that's an entry threshold that I'm going to be interested in, going to keep an eye on it, going to keep watching it. Amazon here is not really behaving very much in terms of tradability logic the way that we want it to. So let's see if it pops back up into the higher part of that range, if we get a reversal right from where we had the earlier reversal, up in here where we had this, what would have been a nice double header if that first bar would have opened low and closed high, and the second bar opened high and closed low. But it wasn't, so we missed the entry on that. Somebody in the room asked if that was an infield fly. I get it. It's sort of in the spirit of an infield fly. It's 2 bars that make up an infield fly. So if you were looking at a 10-minute chart, I suppose you'd be saying, yeah, that's an infield fly. If you're looking at a 5-minute chart, you're saying that's a sort of messed up looking double header. But one way or another, I didn't get it because it just didn't pop on my radar. We've got Google. So Google is coming back up into this threshold level. And you can see there, that sort of ends right where the volume by price is boxed up. So the upper end of the volume by price is right at that VWAP for the session there. We're up above this VWAP on this big trend move. 182.08, if we get back up in here, or if you took the short from the VWAP at about 182, then you're looking for a move back down to 181.57. Comes back up and bumps again, got to be careful, because if it goes and pushes into the void on that cluster analysis, then we are likely to see, a move back up into probably that 182.50 area. So just want to keep a tight stop above that line. Not going to let it go very much more than 10, 15, 20 cents against it. If it does, I'm going to get out, get back in again. The profit objective is big enough that I'm willing to just take a couple little stabs at that. And if I get stopped out on a quick one, that's okay. Then Meta is really just way off to the races. It's coming in pretty hard, and we've seen a move from 598.72 all the way down to 581.44. So that's a big extension. So I'm expecting to see a bit of a reversal here. I don't know if we're going to get back up into that 591 VWAP, that anchored VWAP, but I think we're certainly going to see the blue pivots, the blue pivot here is, it's weird because we're above the central pivot and we had this big uptrending move today, but we have been just down, down, down ever since. This is one that's always confusing for people. I say it doesn't matter if it's positive on the day. You want to watch what's it done for me lately? What's it doing right now? So if we get up into that blue pivot line and then make a move back down through 586.53, I would say that'd be a good quick little target there. And if we get down through 586.53 and keep moving, then we've got a shot back down into 584.28. Microsoft, this guy is, off my radar right now. I don't like the way that it's trading. I don't see really the opportunity there. I guess you can make an argument for a move back down to that central pivot, 419.60-ish, but for the time being, I'm just not really watching that one. We've got NVIDIA. NVIDIA's been trading in the box, and it is coming down right now kind of like everything else is. So I had an order resting for if we got down to 147.98. I was just talking about this in the room with Saeed. Just going through, you guys, if you can't hear anything in the room, it's probably because I'm not saying anything at the moment. But if you're wondering about something, just always ask questions. Don't if you're confused about something, don't stay confused. That's my favorite motto. If we were to get down to 147.98 and then reverse back up to 148.21, I had a conditional order there. So condition was if last price is less than or equal to 147.98, then buy stop limit 148.21, stop 148.25 limit. Didn't happen. I canceled that order. So we're pushing down lower. If it gets down into 147.14, I am not really going to try this, right? So I'm not looking for this little bounce here. I think it probably will bounce, but probably is not really what I'm looking for. I've got a really good rationale for doing something. Then we got Tesla, and Tesla is kind of getting away from us here a little bit. I don't see, 81 million shares, and by the time I get done talking, it's probably going to be 82 million shares, 83 million shares. It's just really making a big high volume move. So central pivot, the fulcrum today should have been 348.21. We are down into 330.84. So the pop that we got on this one the other day is definitely firmly into the correction here. If we get back up to the green pivot on this one, I'm going to look for a short. So 337.78 would be just a hard stop price for me, a limit order right there, 337.78, with a stop out above this guy right here, above that anchored VWAP. If it goes and hits my entry price and gets me in, if it doesn't go to the profit objective right away, it's going to be getting me right back out again, because this has been super volatile today, and big volume like that can wind up with a big reversal, and I definitely don't want to be a part of that. So there's the volume by price on that one that's just constantly readjusting because there's so much volume. Then on the triple Qs, so I didn't do a separate thing on the triple Qs today just because, that's, what am I going to say about this? It's a big downtrend. S&P 500, big downtrend. If we get a move back on the triple Qs again, this was the last one. Entering on the NQ from a 513.05 triple Q print to the short side with a first target at 512.55 and an extended target down at $512.08. So that is just about everything that I have to talk about today. I think it's been, it's been a good day so far, and I think it stands to be a good day for the rest of the session if we can just prevent ourselves from overtrading. Don't overtrade these things. Make sure you stay in front of the opportunities, but make sure you're not out there, trying to find something that isn't there. Trade what is, not what you think should be, and you're going to be all right today. Keep your eye on your trader clock. If you don't have a trader clock, keep an eye on, just print that thing out and go ahead and just make sure you're cognizant of where the time zones are, because the reversals on a day like today tend to be a little bit more extreme than they are on your typical trading day. And, I think that if you just keep all that stuff in mind, you should be okay for the rest of the day. All right. Hope you're having a great trading day. I will see you back here tomorrow.